Hey everyone, it's Jen, and it is menu day. Yay! Okay, so I sound a little rough. I've had the cold flu funk that's been going around, and I could find no better reason than let's do some comfort foods this week because mama doesn't feel good. Kids and husband and everybody else still has to get fed. So let's do a full week of comfort foods on a budget. We're talking under $100 for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm going to show you how I would break it down, and I'm going to give you some visuals for some of the items that you may not be familiar with. And we're going to do it all at Walmart. So let's jump right in. Okay, here is the overview for this week. We're just going to do some nice, easy dishes, not a lot of pre prep or pre cooking this week. We are going to transform our leftovers just a little bit, but like I said, we are going to go super easy. I've got a little grocery list here, and don't forget, I'm going to put a description in the description. It's a link to my website where you can get an absolutely free PDF printable. You go to my website, you click it, and all you got to do is either download it or print it. Super easy. Don't even need to sign up for anything. Okay, so here's the shopping list for this week. You'll notice that it's not a super big list. I did use a little bit more convenience foods than I usually do, but like I said, I'm not feeling good. Maybe you're not feeling good. You just want a super easy week. Totally okay. The total came out to $86.92, and I priced this out at the Atlanta area Walmart. And if you wonder why I do a different city every week. So the number one complaint that I hear all the time is those prices aren't available where I live. Oh, no, no, no. I live in a high cost of living area. So what I did is I went and I got a list of the top 100 high cost of living areas. And so every week I pick one from that list, and that's where I price this out. So maybe you're not in a high cost of living area. Your total very well could be less. And if you look at the size of this pantry section on this list, there's a very good chance that you already have some of these items at home. So it is very, very, very possible you can get this under 75, maybe under $70. Now, day one at my house is typically a Sunday. So I'm going to do, the items that I think would take a little bit longer or that you got to keep a little bit more eye on. And hopefully you have two people in the house that day. So day one for breakfast, we're going to do eggies in a basket. Now, I know people call this a zillion different things like toad in the hole and stuff. Basically, you're going to take your piece of bread, you're going to make a little hole inside. You put it in a pan. I usually do a little butter first just to kind of get that like toasting on it. And then you crack your egg inside the hole and you just fry it. We kind of like it where it's still a little gooey, you get your little runs, but you know what? You can really just do it like scrambled eggs. It's just a cute thing. My kids just love, picking up a piece of toast with egg in it, but that's up to you. And we usually do this with a clementine. Clementines are the small oranges, and honestly, my kids easily can eat one themselves. So I just give everybody a clementine, and if they want more, we open another one and just keep passing out some pieces. Um, for lunch, we don't have leftovers yet, so we're just going to do some simple turkey and cheese sandwiches with pretzels. For dinner, I've done a little bit of a twist. You see a lot of the Mississippi pot roast. Honestly, pot roast can get kind of expensive if it's not on sale. So we're going to do some Mississippi chicken. Now, one of the other little changes that I made is typically you see it made with peppercini peppers. If you've ever gotten like Papa John's or Italian food, you see the little green peppers. That's what it is. My kids actually think they're kind of spicy. I don't think they're spicy. So what I started doing is I swapped them with banana peppers. They look very similar. They're kind of chopped up into rings. They give you that same acid and flavor in the meat, but it doesn't give that little bit of spice. So if you like the little bit spicier, go with the pepperoncinis. I just did this one to show you there are other options. Now, this is super simple. I'm not going to claim that this is the healthiest dish, but it is tasty. So you're going to take your crock pot. I know you don't have to spray it, but I do. I do a quick little spray. I put my chicken breasts in. I'm going to put a whole stick of butter. And I just do a little chop and just kind of spread it out. And then you sprinkle 1 pack of Aus Jus, which is like a gravy, spread that around. Then open up a pack of ranch seasoning, spread that around. And that's it. Seriously. The first time I saw it, I was like, where's the liquid? So in this case, we're using frozen chicken breasts. Even if you use defrosted chicken breasts, all of the meat will start to break down and it'll make its own juices. Plus, you're going to have your banana peppers in there. I usually use like a good sprinkling and a little bit of juice. I think most people use about 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup, totally up to you. And then you just let it sit. Now, it's Sunday, so I'm home. So about every hour or so, I go in there and just kind of give it a little stir. When it's ready, which usually, if you're cooking on high, takes 4 hours. If you're going to cook on low, it's going to take about 8 hours. What I do is I take the 2 forks and I go in there and shred it up real quick. I know some people pull it out and put it in their stand mixer. To me, that just makes more mess. So I'm just going to use forks, and then it makes its own kind of gravy. And I'm going to serve this over rice. And my 7-year-old all of a sudden likes Brussels sprouts. So you may see those more often. So we're doing Brussels sprouts. I like the kind you get at Walmart that you just literally throw it in the microwave. I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes and it steams them. I prefer the one that doesn't have all the extra sauces and stuff, but you can get the one with sauce if you like it. Um, this week I put it on day one just because when you're doing a crock pot meal, it's super simple. So we're going to make some peanut butter oatmeal bars. Now, typically you see 3 ingredient bars where you have to have a bunch of honey or maple syrup, stuff like that. So I wanted to give another option. So with this, we're going to take 1.5 cups of peanut butter, 1/2 cup of butter, and then 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We're going to mix that up in a little bowl and microwave it for 30 seconds, stir it, microwave it, stir it until it's nice and melted. And it kind of reminds me of like when you're making Rice Krispie treats and you want the marshmallows to be all melted. And then you're just going to take 2.5 cups of your oatmeal. And I say about a cup of raisins. I just kind of measure with how I want. And then you mix it all together and you want to get it coated. And just like Rice Krispie treats, you're just going to squish it down in, I usually use like a glass pan and then just squish it down. You can put parchment paper. And then I like to just refrigerate it for about an hour or so. And then you just slice it like you would Rice Krispie treats. And it's just a nice peanut buttery bar. What's great about this is it's almost like a pantry bar. And what I mean by that, go check out your pantry. Do you have any dried fruit? Do you have maybe some toasted coconut or some marshmallows or chocolate chips? Throw anything in there. It's kind of like a trail mix bar. It's really tasty and it's great for breakfast or a snack or whatever. And that's our sweet treat this week. Now, I like to show you guys different ways to use common ingredients, and I haven't shown you guys just basic standard oatmeal, a quick, easy method to do that. So for breakfast, we're going to do a banana brown sugar oatmeal. And honestly, I didn't know how to make regular oatmeal forever. I thought you just open the pack and you add water. So if you've never made it, it's super simple. All you got to do. You can actually do this in the microwave, but I prefer to do it in the stove, on top of the stove. So you take like a big saucepan, okay, and we're gonna make a batch for the whole family. So I like to take 4 cups of water, bring it to a boil, and then add 2 cups of oatmeal, because that's your standard formula for oatmeal is twice as much water as you have oatmeal. So if you have 6 people, you can adjust that as needed. But anyway, so you put your oatmeal in and you bring your 4 cups of water to a boil. Then you add your oats and you're just going to stir and cook it for about 5 minutes. And you'll start seeing that your oatmeal will get all fluffy. And if you cook it too long, it'll get very, very mushy. So don't have your heat still at boiling. Lower your heat and just keep stirring. Once you remove it from the heat, I'm going to stir in some just chopped bananas, a little bit of brown sugar, and a little bit of cinnamon. Now, for this, depending on the size of my banana, it may take 1, it may take 1.5. So, just however much you want to do there. Now, for lunch, we're just going to do some leftovers because we had that Mississippi chicken the night before. Super easy. For dinner tonight, one of my favorite comfort foods is sloppy joes, but I cannot stand the stuff that comes in the can, the manwich stuff. So I figured out a super simple way to make this. And all you need to do is take 1 pound of ground beef. You're just going to go ahead and brown it in a pan. Um, this one kind of gets people. I like to do the saute my onions first and then add the ground beef, but I know some people want to do the ground beef first and then add their onions. You know what? It still gets to the same spot. Do it whichever way you like. Now, once your ground beef is cooked, you are going to want to go ahead and drain off that grease because grease in this instance does not equal flavor. So once that's drained, next we're going to add some brown sugar, some ketchup, and some Worcestershire sauce. Ooh, I got that without messing that up. I'm impressed. Okay, now everyone likes their sloppy joes a little bit differently. If you like it pretty mild, I would go with about 3 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. If you like yours really sweet, then go with about 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire. But this is not a hard and fast rule. I would season it, taste it, and then adjust as needed. Now, with this, I always remember having carrot salad growing up at my grandmother's house, especially when it came to like summertime. So, this is kind of my throwback to summertime. Carrot salad, super easy. You can actually buy carrots that are already grated and super small, but you're going to pay a premium for that. Now, at this Walmart, they were actually out of just regular size carrots. So I ended up with a bag of baby carrots. So all you have to do, give them a little wash, throw a handful, I would say about half a bag of baby carrots in a food processor and do some, where you go, burr, burr, burr. Don't hold it down, but just give it some bursts. And then you're going to end up with just those nice little chunks. In a little bowl, you're going to take 3/4 cup of mayo, some salt and pepper, and some citrus juice. If you don't already have some lemon or lime juice, grab one of your mandarin oranges. I would say about half of a mandarin orange and just squeeze it as much as you can. Make sure there's no seeds, and that'll give you that little bit of acid that you need. And then we're going to just mix this dressing up, pour it over our carrots, add some raisins, and then just fold it in. Now, we are going to have pineapple, so you could very well just add a little bit of pineapple juice. You could even add some chunks of pineapple in this because I know some people's grandparents made it that way. Now, this is one of those salads that I prefer it to sit in the fridge for at least half hour, 45 minutes. And honestly, it's even better overnight. Totally up to you how you would do this. I would probably make this on Sunday just so it was ready to go. Now, for the potato wedges, I've done this a couple times, but seriously, these are just so tasty and easy. You're going to take your potatoes. You're going to slice them in half, okay? So you got your potato, okay? And then I just make 3 little cuts, okay? So you got your nice wedges. And then I use a little plastic bowl and I drizzle all my potatoes with a little bit of oil and whatever my favorite seasoning is. Usually it's just a very basic like garlic and herb blend. And then I'm going to put this on a sheet pan that I've sprayed with some pan spray, and I'm going to bake this in the oven. Now, depending on the size of your potatoes, it could take longer, but I have just recently got an air fryer, and I can do these in about 15 to 20 minutes in the air fryer. In the oven, I usually go 400, and it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Honestly, I'm really liking the air fryer. They really do have that crispness to them. So do whichever way works for you. Okay, so for day 3, our breakfast is going to be a strawberry yogurt parfait with graham crackers. Now, the funny thing is that this isn't really that parfait-ish, but my kids seem to think it tastes better when I call it a parfait. This is very simply a big tub of strawberry yogurt that I'm going to section out, and then I'm just going to either arrange my little graham crackers on top, or I just squish them and make a little crust, and my kids go nuts. It doesn't even have to have extra fruit in there, but if you want, go ahead. Slice up a banana in there as well. Super simple, easy breakfast. Now, for lunch, since we did a whole pound of sloppy joes last night, you're going to probably have some left over. So I'm going to show you a quick, easy way. You're going to take a tortilla. You're going to put some of your sloppy joe mix and a little bit of cheese. And then you're going to fold over the sides and then roll it up real tight. And now we have a taquito. Now, since this is lunchtime or I'd be making it the night before, I usually do these in the toaster oven, but you can totally do them in the oven or the air fryer. Just make sure that your seam side of your tortilla is down, and then you'll end up with a nice, crunchy, easy, like finger food. And I like to serve these with sour cream, and they are super yummy. Now, for dinner tonight, we're going to do another classic. We're going to do some tuna casserole. Now, remember, we're only going to use half a bag of egg noodles because egg noodles are honestly, they get kind of big and you don't need a full bag for this. Now, we're going to use 1 can of tuna, but it's going to be a 12-ounce can. Make sure that you rinse it and drain it because it does kind of get that metallic taste if you go straight from the can. Not really tasty. So I just dump it in a strainer. I use the little sprayer on my sink, give it a nice rinse. You're good to go. So we're going to start by boiling our water for our noodles. And then we're going to go ahead and cook that half a bag and we're going to drain it. Okay. In a small bowl, I'm going to go ahead and combine my tuna and my cream of mushroom, which if you don't like mushroom, totally fine. You can use cream of chicken, cream of celery. They've got cream of potato. They've even got cream of cheddar, whichever soup you want to do. And then I'm going to add my bag of frozen peas and about 3/4 cup of shredded cheese. Now I'm just going to mix this real lightly to where it's all combined. Then I'm going to add in my drained pasta to this, give it another little quick mix, and then I'm just going to dump this into a casserole pan. I, once again, like to spray it, and I use just a 9x13. Most people call it like a lasagna pan. And so you just spread it out, and then you would just top it with some breadcrumbs. And I usually wait till the end and I top it with a little bit of cheese just so it gets all melty. This is going to bake in the oven, 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. This is another, honestly, like dump and go dish. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So even if you don't feel good like I did this week, super easy. Okay, it's day 4, and honestly, my energy's going down, so we're going easy. So for breakfast, we're doing scrambled eggs with a little bit of cheese. I'm going to put it in a tortilla wrap, and we're going to serve it with a clementine, and we're going to call it a good morning. Now, for dinner, we're going to do a beef and bean burrito bowl with rice. If you haven't noticed, I'm really on a rice kick. Not really a rice kick, but I like the rice bowls. I don't know what it is. It's super yummy. And so for these burrito bowls, we're going to need 1 cup of white rice, 2 cups of water. That's the formula. However much rice, you're going to need to double it with water. We're going to go ahead and do a full pound of ground beef. We're going to need some taco seasoning. We're going to do a 15-ounce can of black beans. Once again, rinse them and drain them. And we're going to need some chopped lettuce, chopped tomato, and some sour cream. Now, rice always takes the longest, so go ahead and put it on your stove. I like to just go ahead and start with my rice, add my water, bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling, I put the lid on top and I drop it down to a simmer and just let it sit. If you keep opening up that lid, it will take forever and it will not work. So I just kind of forget it. Next, in a pan, I'm going to go ahead and brown up all of our ground beef. Once it's fully cooked, I'm going to drain the grease, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in our taco seasoning and our black beans. Give this a good stir, let it simmer for a couple minutes so it thickens up, and then super easy. We're going to start our bowls. The bottom of the bowl, I just do a big scoop of rice, then I do my beans and my beef on top, and then I just top it with lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Super, super easy, but honestly, everybody almost goes back for seconds, and it's one of the few reasons why I did the full ground beef. But if you're, you could do easily just half a pound of ground beef here. It depends on if you want leftovers. Okay, it's day 5. So we're going to do oatmeal again, but we're going to do it a little bit different. So this time we're going to do cinnamon raisin oatmeal, and I love this. Oh my gosh, it is like eating a cinnamon raisin cookie for breakfast. So same thing, we're going to do 2 cups of oats. We're going to do 4 cups of water. We're going to start by boiling that water. We're going to add our oats, We're going to cook it for 5 minutes while stirring. And then we're going to add in half a cup of raisins, depending on how much you like, a couple dashes of cinnamon, and some brown sugar. Now, occasionally I do add vanilla, but it's not necessary, totally up to you. Now, for lunch, got those leftovers from the burrito bowls. You may still have some other leftovers, totally do you. And then for dinner, we're going to do super easy again. So we're going to do the sausage foil packs. So this is super simple and it's totally customizable. You can do one big pack or you can do individual packs if you have some picky eaters. Now, what we do is we chop up our sausage into just 1 to 2 inch pieces, think bite size. And then for the potatoes, I like to do either wedges or a large dice. Same thing with the onions and the carrots. We just do kind of a rough chop, but the point is to make them bite sized. There's no wrong way to cut the vegetables here, but we just don't want them too big or they will take longer to cook. So, if you're doing the large foil packet, I would just do a big piece of aluminum foil, lay it on your sheet pan, put all your stuff in the middle, and fold it over. If you're doing individual packs, we usually actually do two. So we'll do one big one for my husband and I, and we usually add things like jalapenos or make it a little bit spicier. And then we make one that's kind of more bland for the kids. Now, I like to drizzle a little bit of oil and then add some seasoning blends. You can do your basic salt and pepper, garlic, onion powder, whatever blend you like. And then we just place the sausage and veggies onto the aluminum foil, and then I just kind of crimp it up. The trick is you just want a nice seal, but I do go use a fork and I poke the top just to get a little bit of steam going in there. Don't go crazy with it because if you have too many holes, it just won't cook as well. So it's a nice blend. So then you just pop this in the 400-degree oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then we usually open them up and just sprinkle them with some cheese because they're hot. So they're going to go ahead and melt. And my kids love this with sour cream. But I've seen people do a lot of different ways to serve this. Some people like to do it with some salsa or really however you want to do it. Now, day 6 is usually a Friday night, and I am pretty much done cooking. I like to throw stuff in a pot, and magically it poofs and it turns out yummy. So let's go back. For breakfast, we're just going to do the yogurt parfaits again. For lunch, we can do turkey and cheese sandwiches or any other leftovers. And for dinner, we're going to do an easy one-pot chicken Parmesan pasta. And before anyone comments, I know there's no Parmesan in this, but this is going to be chicken Parmesan-ish, if you will. So this is a one-pot pasta dish that is super easy. Now we're going to be using egg noodles, but you can actually use this with any type of noodles you like. We just already had a bag that was open, so we're just going to make sure to use it. So what I like to do, this week I did do the frozen chicken, so you can either defrost this ahead of time. That's up to you. I would probably just put these in a bag in the fridge, let them defrost, and then when it's time to cook, I'm going to chop these chickens into just nice bite-sized pieces, 1 to 2 inches. And then I'm just going to saute them in a pan with a little oil until they're fully cooked. Next, we're going to add our can of tomato sauce and some Italian seasoning. Fun fact, when you buy a big old jar of tomato sauce, all it is the same stuff that's in a can with whatever seasonings they like. So I'm going to cut out the middleman. I'm just going to start with your basic tomato sauce, and I'm going to add my own Italian seasoning, maybe some extra garlic. I'm not paying for someone else to add seasoning to my tomato sauce. Sorry about my rant. Anywho, so we're going to stir in our tomato sauce and our Italian seasoning. Then we're going to add in our bag of noodles. We haven't cooked them yet. They're going to be still dry, so we put them in there. I just give it a nice stir, and then now you're going to add just enough water to cover those noodles. And if a few little ends are sticking up, totally fine. So then we're going to crank the heat up to about medium-high heat, and I'm going to put a lid on. And we're going to let this cook for about 20 minutes until those noodles are done. Now, after the 20-minute mark, usually your noodles and everything has just kind of soaked up some of that water. But if it hasn't, that's okay. what you do is you take the lid off and you let it boil just for a minute or two, and before you know it, the sauce is going to thicken up. Now, to make this the chicken parmesan part, what we're going to do is once our pasta is ready, we are going to sprinkle our breadcrumbs and some shredded mozzarella cheese and let that get all nice and melty. And then boom, it's just like chicken parmesan with a side of pasta, but it's all done in one pot. Now, we should have a couple of the hamburger buns left over from the sloppy joes, so we could easily make some garlic bread, and we should already have our lettuce chopped up and our tomatoes chopped up, so let's have a side salad. Super easy. I love super easy dinners on Friday nights. So, just a reminder, this is just a suggested order of meals in how I would prep them. You don't have to cook them this way. You don't even have to cook all of them. You could just pick out some recipes you like. Now, here are some visuals of what I chose and how it made this shopping list so much cheaper. We're going to do the 20 count of tortillas. They're normally labeled as fajitas, so they're a little bit smaller. The quick oats, this is just the sliced cheese. You can get whatever flavor you like. For the smoked sausage, typically I do like the Polish kielbasa, but it actually came out cheaper to do this 6 count from Hillshire Farm. To me, they still taste great. There's not a big difference, but this was about, I think, 75 cents to $1 cheaper. I know we usually do a lot of regular brown potatoes, so I decided to go crazy and do red potatoes. But you know what? If you already have brown potatoes, just use them up. Don't go out and buy red potatoes just for this menu. Now, in this case, we did not need a ton of chicken this week, so it made more sense to do a 3-pound bag of frozen chicken. So you'll have to check the prices at your store, but in this case, I really only needed about 6 breasts, and the big pack, which comes out to like $14, typically has about 8 chicken breasts. So totally up to you. For the turkey, I just went with the simple 9-ounce Hillshire Farm. Here are the egg noodles. This is what the banana peppers look like. This is what the graham crackers look like. And just in case you're not familiar, this is what the Aus Jus gravy mix looks like. So hopefully I've inspired you and showed you that it is totally possible to eat for a family of 4 under $100 for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and a sweet treat. Now, I release these menus every Saturday morning, typically no later than 10 a.m. I've been trying to get them out at 8 a.m. So if you have not joined our Facebook page, just run over to Facebook, type in Lodo Family, and come find us. I try to put out lots of tips and tricks, and whether you are a new cook or if you're an experienced cook, I try to give as much basic information as well as inspire you to be able to cook homemade meals for your family on a budget, and that's healthy and doesn't take forever. So whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a busy working mom, any kind of mom, just come join us and ask questions, please, if you have them. And if you have any suggestions or any meals that you would like to see, or hey, you say, hey, I want you to make a meal with this, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to get back with you. Have a wonderful week, and I hope you guys are feeling better than I am. Whew, I'm ready for a nap. See y'all later. Bye.